Where'll you be going?
Texas?
Damn, son, where'd you find this?
Go on, make it happen.
And now here's Steve and Michelle.
Welcome to Mallet and Michelle, live from Dripping Springs. I am Michelle here with Steve Mallet, who is not as weird as what is going on in Austin right now. If you just keep driving down 290 towards God's country, that's where you will find us. Welcome, everybody.
Welcome to the show, everyone. I'm glad to be here. I'm glad I'm not living in L.A. right now with all those nuts.
Nut jobs, the peaceful protests and everything.
Actually, 99.9% of the people in L.A. are just fine, but that 0.1% is making life miserable.
The paid agitators?
The paid agitators. They should throw all their butts in jail. Can't believe Waymo is every Waymo in L.A. has been burned to the ground, I guess.
What is a Waymo? Is that
Google owns
the driverless cars?
Yeah,
okay.
They have them in Austin. We see them all the time in Austin.
Okay.
They're Jaguar E-Pace electric vehicles, and they have occasionally see people sitting in them driving them, but for the most part, they are driverless taxis.
I have my own Uber. His name is Tuber.
Todd the Uber.
Tuber drives us around. Hey, we need to thank our sponsors today. Deep Eddy Vodka Tasting Room.
The perfect place to kick back, soak in the hill country, and make memories worth bottling.
How about Jovi Belterra right down on 290 also?
Where mornings start with hill country views, evenings end on the patio, and every day feels just a little bit like Saturday.
Oh, that's a good one,
Isn't that
Steve.
good?
That was a good one. South Star Bank.
Big on charm, bold on service, and just nosy enough to know your dog's name.
And they're led by a rodeo clown.
They are led by a rodeo clown.
And the Mallet Integrity Team.
Turning real estate drama into a sitcom with a happy ending. And yes, we always steal the spotlight.
Wait a minute. I don't know if I like that one.
Okay, I'll have another one next week.
There's a whole story behind that. Okay, so we used to have this beautiful girl.
Oh, you're going to tell the story.
I have to tell because you said it. We had this beautiful, my friend Jenna on our team.
Our friend. She's our friend. Oh, you even naming names, Jenna.
Jenna.
I'm so
Jenna.
sorry. You cannot control this woman.
And she did housewarming gifts, and she did these cutting boards. And on the back side of it, she had her logo, and then it said, I'm going to let you say what it said.
For all of your happy endings. And for those of you that don't know what that means, you might just want to Google.
It means you have a nice life. That's what it means.
Means you go home with a smile at the end of the day.
Jesus is what that means.
You need Jesus.
For sure. So
hey, our guest today.
Yes.
Patton Taylor. Who I have not met yet. She sounds like a wonderful young lady. And how did you meet her?
So her brother played football with my kids, and I became friends with her mom, Jill. All of us little football moms back when they were little. So I think probably Patton was maybe 2 or 3. She ran around she was kind of everybody's little sister. And when she was, I think, like 4 or 5, right around the time she was in kindergarten, she was having some issues with her body. And it took Jill on this journey to figure out what was going on with her. And when she was finally diagnosed, it was juvenile arthritis. And for any of you that don't know, juvenile arthritis is a term for arthritis. It's not like adult arthritis. It's not like what your grandmother has. It's not like what your knees have. It's a condition, an autoimmune disorder.
It's a degenerative disease,
yes,
right?
Absolutely.
Eats your joints.
But it's an autoimmune disorder that affects children. The juvenile arthritis affects children under the age of 16. And it causes inflammation of the joints, leading to pain, swelling, stiffness, loss of motion, so on and so forth. But it also, besides the joints, it can also affect your eyes, your skin, your internal organs, fevers, and so on. And going into her, it's not something, my understanding, it's not something you grow out of.
Right.
And I don't know, I need to ask her, does this go from juvenile arthritis to rheumatoid arthritis? I'm not really, I mean, I know
Well, we're
it
going to
morphs.
find out for sure.
But
yeah.
she is a very resilient young lady. She has had multiple surgeries. She is also an ambassador for the Arthritis Foundation and the Make-A-Wish Foundation.
Make-A-Wish Foundation. Yeah, we want to ask her all about
So
that. So
I'm
she's going to
very
come in
excited.
here in a little bit and tell us about that. I think she's been an inspiration for a lot of young people too. So.
Absolutely.
What do you got going on today?
Well, funny story when talking about what are they called?
That's a stormtrooper.
A stormtrooper, yeah.
Star Wars stormtrooper.
So I was thinking about things that people have left behind in homes that, like, when people are moving out. Oh yeah, there you go, Steve showing it on the YouTube video. When people have moved out, you know, we've have a lot of older clients also, and we've helped facilitate that. And I was thinking that there's been some really weird stuff that we have found left outside of home, but nothing as weird as this happened this past spring. And while conducting a home inspection, a home inspector found you ready for this? An alligator in the attic. I promise you, in the attic.
A stuffed alligator.
No.
Live
he
alligator?
thought it was a stuffed alligator or like fake.
That sounds like a real estate transaction that went bad and somebody said, I'm going to show these new owners what's what.
It was a walk-in attic, or I guess they had steps going up to it, not like a drop down.
Okay.
And it was a brand new home, and I guess some of the builders, it was in North Carolina, believe it or not. And somebody left the door open, and when he shined his flashlight on it, the alligator blinked at him, and he was like, "Okay, this is real." It was 8 foot long.
Oh my gosh!
8 foot long. So they grabbed it and they took him out. But
I wonder if there was like squirrels or something in the attic and it attracted the alligator up there.
I don't know. I mean,
that's so
have you seen
weird.
these alligators in Florida, like climbing over fences and stuff?
Yeah,
It's kind of crazy.
yeah.
But so some of the things that we've seen being left behind, I mean, people are always forgetting to go up into their attic. And I don't think people understand that once you close on a house, once you sign that paperwork.
Yeah, they don't realize this. Well, when it funds, that's the point, which means the lender or the title company has said everybody's getting their money. We're done. Everybody's signed everything. That's funding. That's the point where you don't own the house anymore.
You don't own it. And if you've left something in the attic, right, it's up to the kindness of the new owners to say
to go back and get your alligator.
Get your alligator. But some of the things that have been abandoned or most often abandoned, pool tables. We've seen that because people don't want to move them. Safes, pianos, because they're too big to move.
And they just assume that the new owners would be like, oh, we got a baby grand piano. How cool is that? No, it doesn't always work that way.
Oh, you remember how hard it was to get that couch up there in the game room? Yeah, we don't want to take that with us. We're just going to leave it there.
We're just going to leave it, yeah. I'm sorry the dog peed on it 5 times, but, it's a great couch.
No. But so here's some of the other things. Of course, toys, people like bags of toys, dishes in the dishwasher. That's one of the things I've always go look, or in the oven.
Yeah.
There's been things in the oven. How about like in older homes, there used to be a razor drop.
Oh, yeah. They're filled with those razor blades.
Clean that up. That's gross. How about, here's the other one, drug paraphernalia that has been hidden in the walls.
I wanted to tell the story. It was the first week you were working with me. I was in Lubbock, I think dropping Colton off at school. And I said, hey, we're closing on this house, and I just need you to go over. It was a tenant that was in it. It was owned by an investor. I just need you to make sure that everything's out. Go over there, take a look. And you called me and you said, there are used needles in this drawer and a used condom on the floor.
Yes. I was like, welcome to real estate.
Yeah, I said, oh, well, just get some rubber gloves, Michelle.
So one of the other things I saw was reading on Reddit, this woman, the first time taking a shower in her brand new home, when the steam started coming up on the mirror, somebody had written on there, hello, I see you. Which is someone else had stuck a little skeleton figure dressed in a monk's robe behind a furnace. And when they were servicing the furnace, they thought it was a baby that was back there. But here was one of the most craziest things that people had left behind. Teeth, which, thank you. Okay,
you
teeth.
think you'd walk out the door and go, I'm forgetting something.
Yeah.
I'm forgetting something.
But
Why am I forgetting?
But here's the number one, human cremains.
Oh, God.
So you've left Grandpa up in the attic. Please come get him. I think I would call at that point.
Yeah, I think so
I
too.
would call.
Yeah. Well, a couple things I want to talk about. One is I just went to my first Historic Preservation Commission meeting at the City Hall, and if you have not
That was
been
a brand new City
the
Hall?
new City Hall, so
Ooh.
the outside looks the same because that's a historical building, believe it or not.
The
But
one-story building is a historic.
it's an old church.
Oh, okay. Well,
Yeah, but the inside is really nice. They did a great job. The meeting room that used to almost looked like it still had pews in it. It was obviously an old church. Now it's real modern. They've got luxury vinyl tile on the floor. They've got all this brand new audio visual technology in there. It's really nice. So go visit the city.
Interesting.
The other big important news I have, Michelle.
what's that?
What do you think when you hear Fort Worth?
I think of the oh my gosh, what is the name of it? I totally forgot. I think of the Stockyards.
Stockyards.
And I also think of the enchilada and fajita place. I can think of the name of it right now.
Well, add to that list, Fort Worth was just recently ranked as the #1 city in the entire country to survive the zombie apocalypse. Dun, dun, dun.
Really? Why?
It's this moving company came up with this. I don't know what you'd call it. They decided to find out which cities in America would be the best cities to live in when the zombie apocalypse comes. And they ranked it on 7 criteria: road conditions, distance to rural areas, population density per square mile, number of gas stations, average traffic density, and walkability score. So Fort Worth,
Wait.
out of every city in the country, is the place you want to live for when World War Z.
Maybe
hits.
it's because they can eat the cows or whatever. Oh, the place that I was talking about was Joe T. Garcia's.
Oh.
That was the place. But maybe that's where the zombies
Forget
would
about the
stop first.
zombies. I know where I can get a taco.
Yeah, absolutely. You have to go eat there. That is the strangest. That is so
Yeah.
strange.
So I thought this was interesting too. Other notable cities were the last 3. Well, first of all, before I
Where's
say
the worst
that,
place? Does it
so
say the worst?
I can tell you. But let me just tell you, those of us in Texas are actually going to do pretty good when the zombies hit. Austin was 8th, Dallas was 7th, San Antonio was 6th, Charlotte was 11th, Charlotte, North Carolina.
Okay.
The bottom 3, San Francisco, New York, and LA, which I'm actually going to say they may be already experiencing World War Z right now
Yeah.
with those people throwing rocks and
Cinder
setting
blocks.
things on fire. I think
and
the zombies.
fireworks at horses.
That's right. Yeah. So there you go. Zombie apocalypse news you can use on Mallet and Michelle.
Oh, thank you. I'm gonna put that in my little pocket next to Joe T. Garcia's.
Todd, we need to move to Fort Worth.
Absolutely. So, piggybacking on that, have you ever heard of something, a point in time count, a PIT count?
I have never heard of that.
I've never heard of that either. So apparently in January across the United States, HUD, they are required to do this PIT count of the homeless population.
Yes.
And so they just recently did it, or the results have come out for Hays County. And in 2025, they said on that particular day, there were 187 homeless people that were sheltered or unsheltered in Hays County.
In the entire county.
In the entire county. They are primarily focused in San Marcos is where they're focused in. According to this survey, 55 were unsheltered, 132 were sheltered. The count included 38 children under 5 years old and sheltered, and mainly they were adults 35 to 44.
So sheltered means they're home. They don't have a home to go home to, but they have a place to go at night to sleep and be safe, like a what we would call a homeless shelter.
Yes, but what they were saying also that what could have skewed this count was the fact that it was really cold that night.
Oh, okay.
So it could have been that. The count in 2024 for Hays County was 210. The count in Austin is 3,238 on that particular night.
The number of homeless people in the entire county of Hays is equal to about the number that there is on one city block in downtown Austin.
Isn't that crazy? So this point in time count, what it does, it's a snapshot of a single day, and it doesn't show the full extent because a lot of the elderly and VA, there's other places that they I guess they shelter. But Hayes did its very first survey in 2021, and they counted 102 homeless people without permanent housing.
So Hayes County is a pretty good place to live as far as not having people that can't find places to live.
I guess so. They said that individuals in permanent housing or temporary living situations were not included in the count. Temporary situations included from the PIT count include people staying with friends or family, those risk of homelessness, individuals paying for hotels or motels out of pocket, and those in foster care, sober living environments, or criminal justice or healthcare facilities.
That's crazy.
So, what is kind of crazy, and it said that roughly 9% of the people that were there identified as LGBTQIA+, and approximately 44% identified as survivors of domestic violence.
Oh, that's a shame.
But I looked up also, and so if you or anybody is experiencing homelessness, there are places in Hayes County for you to get help. The Home Center, it organizes the Homeless Coalition and offers resources like peer support, case management, so on and so forth. And they also have motel vouchers. The Southside Community Center, that one provides shelter, day services. The Hayes Caldwell Women's Center, I donate to that one every month. It offers safe emergency shelter for women and children experiencing domestic violence or sexual assault. It's a great organization.
Yeah. We've donated with Dripping Springs Elite.
Yes, I
too.
love that one. The Blanco River Regional Recovery Team assists those impacted by disaster who are homeless or at risk. The Housing Authority of San Marcos. And then, of course, you have the Salvation Army, St. Vincent de Paul Society. You can also go to the Texas Health and Human Resources and the Workforce Solutions. Here in town, locally, we do have, St. Martin de Porres and several churches like the Methodist Church that provide resources like helping hands for those experiencing hunger crisis. Yeah. So, like I said earlier, it's just a snapshot. It doesn't mean necessarily we only have less than 200 people. I mean, here in Dripping Springs, I think it's harder to be homeless here because there's really not a lot of places to shelter.
It's hard to be homeless here because our community is so giving also. When we see people really struggling, our community really pulls together to try and support those people. We've had people, their homes have burned down from lightning strikes. People they come together, they get them clothes, they get them food, they get them a place to stay until they get, everything in order. I mean, talk about everything you own burns to the ground. I mean, you're shocked.
Well, the community has really stepped up in that sense. Yeah, I just what I meant by that is there really isn't a resource or a place to house our homeless.
No, that's true.
And because, we just have 290 as our main thoroughfare. I-35, there are a lot of transients, and there's a lot of truck stops around there. So it's just more, it's more of a ground zero per se.
Yeah. One of the things, I've said this before on the podcast, I just was reading an article this morning. The state of California has spent $24 billion, I don't know over what period of time, but that's the total amount they've spent dedicated to homelessness in California. And the crisis there is worse than it's ever been. I think we really need a hard look at what's happening with that. They just keep throwing money at it.
Well, I think it's the enabling aspect of it.
It's the enabling, but it's also, I think, there's a lot of cronyism, these slush funds of money for homeless, and they go, we're going to build 500 tiny homes to house the homeless, and then 3 of them get built and the money's gone. Mm-hmm. It's like, where did it go?
Well, it's also the drug crisis that they experience, and it's the whole teach a man to fish.
Exactly.
Right?
Yes. If you want to get somebody off the street, don't just give them a tent and food and blankets and support that lifestyle. Teach them how to, or help them get a job, get a place to live. That's the first step. We're falling down on that. We've had on our podcast, we've had a couple people that have said some nasty things about us, which we take as a badge of honor, don't
Is
we?
it me? Am I saying nasty things
Well,
about you?
Yes,
or
you
us?
always do. But I know you say it in love. Did you know that wanting revenge, so somebody does you wrong, wanting revenge is addicting?
Really?
Your brain goes through a similar process to when you're addicted to drugs and you get overwhelmed. Your body, there's a part of your brain that kicks in that craves either alcohol or drugs to stop that feeling. When you have somebody that does you wrong, your brain goes through a very similar process, and it's your dopamine kicks up, and somebody cuts you off or something, you want to go ram into their car. It's weird, but it's actually, that feeling is addicting.
Really?
Yes.
I think I have simmered down a lot in my old age. But if you ever crossed my children or my family,
Oh yeah,
I would burn your house down
in a heartbeat. Yeah, and feel really good about it.
Yeah,
But,
I would.
yeah, being harmed or treated unfairly activates the brain's pain network. Getting revenge or just fantasizing about it releases dopamine and produces feelings of pleasure that cover up for the pain, but just for a short while. It's just like doing drugs. You feel good for a little bit, and then the high goes away, and then you feel like crap again.
I have come to learn also that sometimes revenge isn't immediate, and the karma is
Sometimes
down the road.
Yes. The revenge doesn't come from you. That person that is wronging you is also wronging other people. That comes back to get them, and when it gets them, you go, yeah, I feel good about that.
Yeah, and I look at how their marriage is and how their life is and their kids have turned out,
Yeah.
and I'm like, haha.
Yeah. The main point of this article is that forgiveness, people who choose to forgive, reduce that activity in the brain. So somebody cuts you. I know. Look at the face you're making. It doesn't feel as good, but it is better for you. Somebody cuts you off, sticks their finger out the window and flips you off. If you just say, you know what, that person must be having a much worse day than me, it reduces that tendency to go towards that dopamine, and you'll feel better about your life. So forgiveness is the key.
You know, I have to say that my grandfather was the best example of that ever. My papa, he was so
He was so gracious
he
when
was
things
so
happened
gracious.
to him.
He was so gracious, and somebody would come in and we would say, "Oh, look at that woman," or or whatever. She's
Yeah.
such a, and my grandfather would say, "But look at how nice her dress is."
Always found something nice
Always
to say.
something nice. My grandfather never had a crossword to say about anyone.
I think when you start looking at the world as people, the people that don't know you and wrong you, chances are they are having something going on in their life that
I
they're
get
really
it.
struggling with. It's different than when somebody that you know and trust and possibly
for
love
sure.
wrongs you. That's really hard to forgive. But if it's somebody that, cuts you off when trying to find a parking space in HEB, they might not have even seen you. And then here you are getting all riled up. Well, I'm going to bang my card into them. That's more about you than it is about them.
Well, the forgiveness aspect of somebody that you love or cared about at one point is more about yourself. Peace for yourself than peace for them.
Well, and that's what this
where
is. Yeah, and so if you practice that forgiveness feeling, like, oh, that person cut me off, I hope they get to where they're going safely. It actually builds up a part of your brain that gives you more self-control. So in the future, when those things happen, it's easier for you to get to the part where you say, you know what, I'm just going to let that person go down the road without flipping them off or running into the back of them.
So what do you need me to forgive you for? That's what I'm at.
I have a long list.
What did you do?
Oh, God. Did you see where my cup is right now?
do.
My cup is way over here. That's about 4 feet from our new lovely Roadcaster soundboard.
Yeah, it was actually a blessing in disguise because
I love this soundboard.
I know, it's nice.
I don't know if I can do it, but
do the
I don't
do
know
the
if
voice.
I can do it or not.
Oh, hello.
We have-
Hi, everybody.
We
How
have
are you?
voice.
You can't.
I have voice on here.
That's you. You can't hear it on the video, but you can hear it.
No, yeah, you won't hear it on YouTube, but you can hear it on Ballad and Michelle.
Why are you making your mouth like that?
Because it's called for that. You have to talk this way.
And we had a really good time with this. And with that, we're going to have our guest come.
We're going to take a little break.
And get Patton Taylor in here, and she's going to visit with us for a little bit. So hang on, sit tight.
You need to change my voice.
Vodka-flavored vodka? How boring.
At Deep Eddy Vodka, we say, why stop there?
Our vodka's made with real fruit, handcrafted right here in Texas.
We've got bold cocktails, refreshing mocktails, food trailers on the weekends, and plenty of local events.
So come sip something with a little more soul than just plain vodka.
Deep Eddy Vodka Tasting Room. Live here, sip here.
Follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Deep Eddy Vodka Tasting Room.
South Star Bank has remained true to its Texas roots for over 100 years. A commitment to the people and communities they serve, along with flexible financial solutions, allow their clients to shine. Mortgage loans, checking accounts, or complete business solutions. South Star Bank is your financial partner. South Star Bank, trusted by professionals, backed by tradition, built for Texas.
SouthStarBank.com, member FDIC, an equal housing lender, NMLS 410624. Find your joy at Jovi Belterra. Life is better here. This vibrant 55 and up community is located in Dripping Springs, just right outside of Austin. 1- and 2-bedroom homes, resort-style amenities, and just steps away from shops and restaurants. Forget the yard work. This is your time to relax, make new friends, and enjoy the life you've dreamed of. Find your joy at Jovi Belterra. Life is better here. Live JoviBelterra.com, 737-387-6870.
This show is brought to you in part by the Mallet Integrity Team, serving Dripping Springs, Austin, and the surrounding areas of Central Texas since 2004. When you need the best real estate advice and service, give them a call at 512-829-2062 or email them at malletintegrityteam.com. And now here's Steve and Michelle.
And we are back with Patton Taylor. Hi, Patton. How are you?
Hi, I'm great. How about you guys?
We're doing good. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. I'm so happy to be here.
Yeah, thank you for spending the time with us today. Are you are you born and raised in Dripping?
So I was born in Austin, lived there till I was about 6, and then my family moved out to Johnson City.
Oh, okay. So did you graduate from
Johnson City?
Oh, okay. So how do you guys know each other?
Match.com.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, football. We met through football, through our kids.
But they're on a different football team.
No, when our kids were little, we were on the Hill Country Cowboys.
Okay.
And all of my
okay.
It was the Hill Country Cowboys, and we all became close because we were kind of the outcast of. And then she was everybody's little sister, so she kind of ran around and kind of did as she pleased around the field. So yeah, all the boys kind of took care of her.
Okay.
And she's just the cutest little thing, the cutest little blonde, just the cutest little thing ever.
And you just graduated?
I graduated in 2023.
Oh, okay. Oh, how old are you?
I look like I'm 12, but I am about to turn 21.
Oh, I thought you told me she was 18.
Well, no, okay. Well, you just don't listen to you.
Well, that is true. Yeah. What have you been doing since you graduated?
So I have been taking classes at community college, about 2 at a time, and I have been going steady and strong. I got an A this last semester.
All right.
Even though I only took 1 class, it's still an A.
Yeah. What subject?
Communications.
All right. Oh, that's a good one for the future.
So I want to step all the way back to when you are in kindergarten, preschool, right around the time when, gosh, you were a little bit older than that, but when I started really hanging out with you guys, and you started having some real kind of unusual symptoms.
Yes. So, let's say I went to a friend's birthday party. There would be a bounce house, like most kids would have. And I would just be bouncing on it, having the best time of my life. And when I would come off, I ran to my mom yelling, "My wrist to my foot hurts." That was my word for my ankle.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
And I just would start crying and bawling, and I would just have to leave immediately after that. Or let's say I was playing Just Dance with my brother. That evening, I would be great, but the next morning, I would be in so much pain I could hardly get out of bed.
And so did that take you on a series of just doctors after doctors, and they were trying to figure out what was going on?
So we started off with my pediatrician, and she kept giving me x-rays and just random tests. Everything always came back normal. And we have a very good friend who's an orthopedic surgeon, and he said, bring her to me. I will point you in the right direction to go to. And my mom, thinking I would just walk out of there with a cute little pink cast on my foot or something, he sent me to my current doctor, Ruby Carrasco. And he is a rheumatoid, rheumatologist, yes.
And from the he was a pediatric rheumatologist, right?
Yes.
And you have seen him this entire time, and he's kind of a miracle worker. And what people, I don't think people understand unless you have a child that's kind of going on this kind of health journey, is there really aren't a lot of specialists, or there weren't 20 years ago in whatever this field is. And so there was a couple of doctors at Dell Children's. One wasn't great and one was great.
Yes.
And if you went to the one that wasn't great, you were kind of faking and there's nothing wrong with you unless you were like on the extreme end. And then Dr. Carrasco kind of looked at you and was like, so he did extended testing. Did he do like an ANA test or things like that when you were younger?
Did so much testing, and I used to call him the vampire.
Drew so much blood.
Yes. And soon, like recently, like when I was 10, I found out that he's deathly afraid of needles. Like, he would walk out whenever anyone was getting poked.
Oh, my gosh.
And I love to bother him about this. Because he is like that one family member that you just have to bother.
That's funny.
That's great. I think, when you were at the beginning of this, and still going through all of the blood testing and all of the x-rays and the imagings and stuff, how long did it take for them to actually get a diagnosis of juvenile arthritis?
I'm going to say on the first or second visit, he said, yeah, this is definitely arthritis.
And how old were you then?
I was about to turn 6.
Oh, my gosh.
I was diagnosed, I'm going to say, in August maybe, or right around November, and my birthday is in September.
Okay. But at 6 years old, you had no idea what that meant. You just knew something wasn't right.
I just knew I was a little different, and that was fine with me.
Yeah.
At what age did you have your first surgery to have a joint replaced? Because the juvenile arthritis that you had was very severe, extreme.
So when we talk about surgeries, people view this in so many different ways. They think of, some people consider like going under anesthesia at any time a surgery. And that isn't exactly what I assume as a surgery. A surgery is where they go in for a deep procedure and you're under for over 2 to 3 hours.
Okay.
And I'm going to say the first time I had a real surgery was 12. I broke off part of my femur, like a quarter-sized chunk, and I have no idea how I did this. I still don't.
How did so you weren't jumping off the couch or
No.
you just woke up one morning and it hurt?
So the way I found this out is I was messing with my knee, and I did something to my kneecap, and another kneecap appeared.
Oh, gosh.
Oh, jeez.
And I'm kind of like, Mom, come look at this. This is not right.
It must have hurt terribly.
I didn't notice a thing. So it was just there. It was kind of just like a wart, I'm going to say. It didn't hurt. It just was uncomfortable. So we went to one doctor, and he said, oh, it's just something.
Calcium deposit.
A calcium deposit.
Oh.
So just massage it, and it'll go away. We did that, and it didn't do anything. So we went to get a second opinion, and this doctor's like, no, this is not a calcium deposit. It is most certainly not. I probably will need to go to have surgery. You'll have to have surgery to go in and look at it and fix it up. And this is my surgeon who now I adore, Dr. Sargent. And
I mean, your mom is like pretty much, you and your mother are pretty much the experts on the surgeon arena in the Austin area, the Austin and San Antonio and surrounding areas.
I've got so many friends that'll call me and say, "Okay, I need a specialist for this."
Yeah.
Who do you go to?
Yeah, she's pretty good at that. So, total, what you consider surgery, right? How many surgeries total to date have you had?
okay, so I had 3 major knee surgeries. That was part of the whole knee issue. And I have had my jaw replaced.
So with some kind of medical implants
Titanium implants,
Oh
yes.
my gosh. And you showed us the scars before we started, but that must have been a painful recovery.
So the first 2 weeks were by far the worst. That was kind of when I was contemplating, why did I even do this to begin with? But once that 2-week mark hit, I was so much better. I would be eating whatever I want and just gladly talking again.
So before you had the surgery, you were having a hard time eating and even talking? So you didn't have a choice. You had to have the surgery.
I needed it, yes.
Yeah.
And the surgeon said I should have gotten it done 6 months prior because there was no cartilage left.
Oh my gosh.
So was it inflammation also in your jaw?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh my goodness. What do you think is one of the biggest misconceptions that people think about juvenile arthritis that they don't understand?
Well, first off, it is a much more aggressive than it is. You need to treat it more aggressively than you do with your elders.
Okay.
Because your body, it's growing so rapidly and you want to attack this as hard as you can to make it stop before it reaches this level of pain that you can no longer do anything.
Is that with steroids or just like constant, like Plaquenil, or are there like just a myriad of medications that you have to be on consistently for the rest of your life?
Well, I have a friend who has been on prednisone for 5 years now.
Oh my gosh.
And that destroys your liver too. So it's like you're playing this Russian roulette, right?
You're juggling. Okay, I take the prednisone. It's going to cause these issues, but the alternative is I don't have a zero quality of life.
Yes.
Yeah, wow. But so when you said treatment, there's no cure for it.
No.
The treatment is to delay the progression. Is that right?
Yes.
So what's the future look like?
Well, for each person, it's very different. Some people can get it under control with, I'm going to say, the first or second drug they try. For me, I have gone through almost every drug that's available.
Oh, gosh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
I am now on adult drugs, and that even is starting to not work. I had to get off of it for about 6 months for my jaw surgery, and when I got back on it, it's not working as well as it did before.
That is infuriating and frustrating. I guess, are you in what do they call trials? Do you ever get involved now that you're an adult? Can you participate in those trials?
I would love to, but I haven't been able to yet. Oh, but I am in a study at the NIH, and I have been before. When I was younger, I was in a study for ankylosing spondylitis, where they would look at my spine and see if this helped or this helped. And that was the main thing that they focused on. I wanted them to look at other joints too, but they were like, no, the spine is where we really want to look at.
That does juvenile arthritis, I had this question we were talking in the monologue earlier. Does juvenile arthritis turn into rheumatoid arthritis, or do you always have juvenile arthritis, even if you're 30, 40 years old? You always have that?
Yes. So once you're diagnosed as a juvenile, it is just considered you have juvenile arthritis.
So it's like type 1 diabetes almost, right? Because that's a juvenile diabetic, and then, okay.
But it doesn't turn into regular arthritis the older you get. This disease manifests itself the same way you're experiencing it now as you age.
Yes.
Yeah. Patton, how are you keeping? You have a great attitude about all this. I know a lot of people that they pull a muscle in their shoulder or something. They're like, oh, yeah, and they complain. But you have a great attitude about this. How are you keeping that great attitude?
So one of my favorite mottos that I always say is, it can always get worse.
Isn't that the truth? I think we just found our show title.
Right? It can always get worse, for sure.
That is one of my favorite mottos that I just came up with on the fly one day. And I'm like, you know what? This really sucks. But you know what? It could always get worse. There could be a major hurricane going on in the same town.
Yeah.
I am glad that I only have this, and this is my major issue, instead of having 4 or 5 of the same things that are just so hard to deal with.
Yeah.
One of the questions that I had, because I know your family personally. I know your mother, and she's an amazing, wonderful person. And the journey that she has been on also with you, this has altered not only your life, but her life and the majority of her adult life as well. But now that you're an adult, have you taken more control over your health journey and kind of like, or are you more as
Patton and Mom
dependent
or Patton and Jill are looking at each other like, I think this has been a topic of conversation.
So
I'm sure there's binders that Jill had and with tabs and yeah.
So I am about the same as that. I'm very codependent on her. Let me just say that. I could not survive without her. She is the main one who fills my meds, who calls the doctors, who schedules the appointments, and talks to insurance even. And I am so glad that I have someone to do that for me. But I know that I should be doing it as well.
Yeah.
I've gotten to the point where I'm like, yeah, I should probably be doing that, but I really don't want to.
But that's part of adulting, is realizing, okay, now I've got to take this responsibility. Jill's giving me 2 big thumbs up. Yeah, it's and I know as a parent, sometimes it's a very hard thing for us to do. But when you have to kind of force your kids sometimes, because it is easy to just stay in the comfort zone.
But then also, as you know, in Jill's defense, as a mom's defense, I can say, she has been all along on this journey, and so she knows the ins and outs. And not that you were like a bystander, because obviously this was all happening to you. But there were conversations that were happening and decisions that were being made that you weren't necessarily you were a part of. But
I had no idea what was going on.
Yeah,
they were just talking in different languages that I didn't understand.
Yeah, and as you get to be an adult, you can't do that.
No, and I do my best to interject in all these conversations that are being had about my health, and I try to lead the way of how I want to have my treatment going.
Be an advocate for yourself, per se.
Very much, yes.
Do you think your disease makes you appreciate some of the things in life that others take for granted?
Oh, very much.
Give us an example of that.
So, all my friends are off at college, and I would love to go off to college, but physically I am not there. If I were to have a flare-up or just having a little accident and something happened to me, no one would be there for me. And most of my friends from high school are off at college doing something, making friends at college, and I feel like I'm getting left behind half the time.
You said that you hang around mainly with older women in the quilting circle, I'm sure.
Yes. Some of my favorite people are just little old ladies who love to gossip.
Some of my favorite people are little old ladies like Michelle.
Well, there you go. Yeah. Isn't that nice of him? We talked about revenge earlier in the show.
Yes.
We're going to have to circle back on that one.
Probably have some poison in my iced tea later.
For sure. Well, I want to go back to what you were saying about your mom, and I want you, in your own words, to describe your mom and what you think that this journey has been like for her. We've talked a lot about you and what your journey is, but what do you think? You're almost 21 years of age. You're not quite living on your own yet, and that will happen. But, as a young mom of 2 young kids, she's exploring this journey. What was your experience now that you come a point in your life as a child where you not only look at your mom as your mom, but you look at her as she's a woman.
Yes.
And she's a girl also, and she has feelings and life experiences. So explain what you think this journey has been like for Mom.
Well, I know first off, when I was first diagnosed, her expectations of my life were completely rocked. Like, I know that she wanted me to play volleyball. I know that she wanted me to be super, like, into sports and athletic. And I would have, too. I would have loved to play basketball if I physically could. But at the same time, that would just be so hard to do. And I grew up watching my brother at all his sporting events. And I would get so infuriated that he just could do all this stuff. And I know that she could see that fury on me. But at the same time, I'm looking at her and I'm like, what's another way that I could prove myself to her and my dad? And so, like, I'm going to say art would be like my way of saying, thank you. Like, this is my way of putting myself out there and doing my sport.
Is your creative side. So you've kind of taken this journey. Oh, yeah.
I wanted to show some of the artwork that you've done. This is some cards you brought us. These are beautiful.
Do it a little bit. There you go. Now you can see it.
The design on the back. You mentioned in your bio that you started painting again after high school because of your brother. What was that about?
So my brother's, I guess it was his 26th birthday came up. And I'm like, I refuse to spend money on you. I love you, but I just don't want to. So I'm like, you know what? I will make you something. So I texted his wife. I'm like, pick out one of these 3 pictures. And she picked out the blue lobster. So I painted him a blue lobster because at the moment they lived in Boston. So I painted that for him, and he's like, oh, this is amazing. I love this, Patton. Like, this is so good. You could sell this on magnets and blah, blah, blah. Like, it's amazing.
Well, you were doing things also in the state fair circuit, right?
Yes.
So what were you doing in that?
That was in high school?
So in high school and a little bit in middle school, I did 4-H, specifically the exhibit hall. I just could not show animals. That would not be my thing.
Yeah. It's too dangerous. Yeah.
Well, I did rabbits one year, and I just didn't like putting up with the rabbits. They just were animals, fairly to say.
Yeah.
So I enjoyed...
by the way, I'm very disappointed that you did not bring your dog with you. I thought you were going to bring your dog.
Oh, no.
Whatever.
No.
Continue with the animal story.
So I love to create, and so I would just start filling out the paperwork. As I'm filling it out for exhibit hall, I'm like, oh, in this category, I could do a dog quilt, or like do this. And I did it for almost every category and everything, and I did my best to,
So you participated in every category? You tried to do something in every category?
Yes.
Oh, that's really cool.
So like one year I did a beaded Christmas tree, and I specifically made this in the goal of giving it to my grandmother because she made one for my parents and my other grandma, and she never made one for herself. And I put this in my little essay that I had to write for everything I entered, and they were so touched by it. I won that category.
Oh,
that's cool.
And so I tried to have one like show-stopping project in each category.
That's cool. Have you associated yourself with the Dripping Springs Art League?
No, I have not.
Have you heard about that?
No, not really.
We have some of our friends, Steve and Jennifer Friedman, they run that. They put that together. I think you should reach out to them.
That's a great idea,
because
Steve.
they support local artists, and you're obviously a great local artist, and they have all these events and things and
classes, and they support each other within that.
You could get together with other artists and learn their techniques, and they could learn from you. I think that would be something you would really enjoy.
That's really cool. I like
Patton, what's a typical day look like for you? How do you know, like when you wake up in the morning, do you know what kind of day it's going to be, or do you, as far as pain or how you feel?
So no matter what, I try to make myself get out of bed, at least at some point in the day, whether it is to eat, just walk around the house, or do something. I try to make myself get out of bed because if I don't, I know I will spiral into a depression.
Your mom
Yeah.
said that your nickname in the family was Sleeping Beauty. And it was probably because of just the pain and the...
Oh, I love to sleep. If I could sleep all day, all night. Like, I can sleep for hours on end and still...
Do you think that some of that is the medications you're on?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the disease causes fatigue.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Oh, well. But if you have some great days. What kind of day are you having today?
Today is not a bad day. It's a little drizzly outside, so I'm a little stiff. The weather really affects me.
Huh.
Like, whenever we had that huge snowstorm that one year, I could not move. I could not get off a couch.
Really?
I was stuck under my blanket with my teddy bear. I hated it.
So when summer comes and it's warm and
I love it so much.
that's better for you than the
Yes.
cold, drizzly months. Wow.
Patton, we talk a lot about the physical aspect of this disease. What about the emotional aspect of it? The emotional toll that it takes on you? You're talking about your friends that are off in college and stuff. And so how do you pull yourself out of that?
Well, so at an early age, I had to overcome FOMO, fear of missing out.
Yeah.
And that was mainly because all my friends were off playing sports in middle school, and I couldn't. I wanted to be a part of like those inside jokes that happened in the locker room or just random things that would happen, but I couldn't. So I did my best to just tune that out. I focused on myself and focused on whatever I like to do at the moment. And at the moment, I was really trying to invest in my art. And I had an amazing art teacher in high school and middle school, Ms. Hudson. She is still there, and she is an amazing woman. And she noticed that I was having a hard time, too. And so she's like, what if you started doing VASE?
What is it?
VASE, Visual Scholastic Art Event.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I didn't know that either.
Yeah, so I'm like, you know what? I'll give that a shot. Yeah, let's do that. So every day during class, I would work on my project and just pour my heart and soul into it. And at the end of the year, we would go off to wherever, and all the kids that were in VASE competed. And it's comparable to like band UIL, where you would get like a 1, 2, 3, 4. And I think I got a silver seal maybe on my one in 8th grade. And I was so proud of myself for that. I was happier than I had ever been before.
That's a
great.
blessing that you had a
Yeah.
teacher that helped guide you, that kind of saw where you were struggling.
Patton, what are some of your biggest dreams for your life?
That's a hard question to answer. I see myself venturing off into doing multiple different things. I would love to go explore the world, just see everything that there is to see. I would love to have a family and just grow old with an amazing, loving spouse. There's so many things that I want to do. I would love to have an art gallery and just enjoy my life as I grow old.
Yeah. Have you, this is a personal question, have you been dating?
I haven't even had my first kiss yet.
Oh.
MalletIntegrityTeam@gmail.com.
Yeah. Well, you're very sweet. But I imagine it's with, if I can say, you're some kind of IV situation here.
So currently I am hooked up to my IV infusion. It's just IV liquids that are going in.
Yeah. So it's not like you can on a Friday night say, Mom, I'm going to go out with some friends. It's very difficult to do that.
Well, I try to plan like a couple days ahead, just seeing what I would be like or what is all happening in my life. Like, I really want to go to the Peach Jamboree this year. And texted my friend last night. I'm like, hey, would you be willing to go to the Jamboree with me? And she's like, yeah, totally, if I'm not working. And I'm like, great, if you can, I'll bring my handicap placard and we'll get good parking.
Right in the front.
Right in the front row.
Is that in Fredericksburg? Is it?
It's in, right outside of Fredericksburg.
Okay. Yeah. Are you going to go, or
I'm going to try my best.
You got to go. You got to go. You'll have so much fun.
We talked about also earlier how you're an ambassador with the Arthritis Foundation and Make-A-Wish. And I know that Make-A-Wish blessed your family with a trip.
Yes.
And can you talk about that and what that meant to you?
So, first off, I despised Make-A-Wish at the beginning of my whole...
Well, yeah, because it puts like almost a target. Like, oh, look at the poor kid.
The poor kid that's going to die soon, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, that's not good.
And I'm like, really? They're just doing this for the kids that are about to die and blah, blah, blah. Or the kids that just have cancer. And I hated that so much until my amazing brother signed me up for a Make-A-Wish, and I got it.
Oh.
And I'm like, wait, I could actually get one?
And y'all went to Hawaii, right?
Yes. Okay. So we were supposed to have it, I guess, right around like this 2020 at some point. And obviously...
I forgot about that. Yes, it was during COVID.
And it got canceled. Like, I was the first one that they canceled.
Oh, no.
I know.
Canceled or postponed?
Postponed.
Okay, good. Okay, so you did get a chance to go. Okay.
So they postponed it, and I guess in 2021, like late 2021, like December, we went on our trip, and everyone had an amazing time. Like, this was one of the first family trips that no one was going to kill each other.
That's a rarity. Yeah, for all families.
It really is.
It's a rarity in our office, too. That's a daily thing in our office that we fight against.
Yes. So, like, while we went on a submarine tour, I went
oh my gosh.
on a turtle tour, like, all around the island. And for my parents, for that year for Christmas, we didn't get any presents. Instead, they extended the trip a week.
Wow.
And we stayed on a different part of the island.
How cool is that?
Yeah, it was amazing. And so we half the trip was just go. Tour after just random stuff going and going. And then the other half, we just chilled, laid out on the beach. My brother went and had surfing lessons. I just enjoyed being on the beach, enjoying soaking up the sun.
The sun, yeah.
What about the organization itself, though? Like, while you were there and how they kind of really catered to your needs?
It was amazing. So, first off, all my doctors were very anxious about me going.
Yeah, I could see. I bet Dr. Krasko wasn't real thrilled that you guys were going.
They wanted her to go.
They just didn't know how I would be feeling at the moment.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And
She
so
had lots of procedures to get her ready to be able to enjoy. Like, before she had her back ablations done, she wasn't going to be able to make a plane ride because she couldn't sit up, much less for as many hours as that plane ride is.
So lots of preparation in order to go.
Very much. So, like, Make-A-Wish itself, I love the organization. And I made one of my best friends through the organization.
Now you love the organization.
Yes. Yes. And, like, I made one of my best friends through the organization. And we met at a gala, and we had so much fun. And I just got back from her house, actually. I spent time with her and celebrated her grandpa's 80th birthday together.
What does it mean for you, though, as being an ambassador? Do you mentor other kids that have your same condition, or are you just a general mentor for trip ideas and whatnot?
Honestly, I just do as they ask. If they want me, I will never speak badly about Make-A-Wish again.
Yeah.
But I will just talk to kids and say, yeah, this was my experience and I loved it. Or, like, I love admiring different wish ideas. Like, there was one girl who wanted to have a Morphe palette made for her.
Makeup.
Like,
Morphe. Oh, wow, like a personalized.
Yes.
Okay, so Steve,
yes, please
what
explain.
That is there is a palette, whether eyeshadow or blush or whatever it is.
It was all eyeshadow.
It's Morphe's a brand.
Okay.
Like Revlon,
and so the
L'Oreal.
palette this is what looks good on your
the
skin.
eyeshadow, like you'll have the lights and the darks and whatever color. So she probably had it tailored towards her. That is, and Morphe did that?
Yes. And
That's
whenever
really
she
cool.
got her wish, they flew out an influencer to do that with her and had the whole photo shoot, and she just got all dolled up. And I thought that was the coolest wish. And there are some very odd wishes. There's one kid, I was talking to my friend's sister who works at Make-A-Wish, who wanted to see all the Smithsonian's at DC.
Oh, wow.
And I'm like, that must be one fun kid.
Well, maybe you could go work for Make-A-Wish too. Maybe there's something in the nonprofit sector, that you could go. You could go bless with the knowledge that you've learned. I could even see you also talking to you were talking about you're going to a camp this weekend, and right, that's this weekend.
What'd you call it? Arthritis camp?
The arthritis camp. But I could also see you talking to a panel of parents that are going through it.
Very much, because parents, I feel like they lower their expectations for the kids.
Oh, that's wow.
Well, for me, my mom never once told me you can't do this chore. She's like, get your butt up and you can unload the dishwasher yourself.
You can hook the IV up next to the dishwasher.
That's the best thing for you, though. That otherwise you get sequestered. You'll be lonely. You'll sort of draw into yourself, and you won't have the life that you dream of having.
Yes. So just try to. I want anyone with a kid who has a disability to treat their kid as normal as they can. Of course, they have their limitations. They need to take a break every once in a while. But yesterday, I did all my laundry by myself. I loaded it, unloaded it, switched the loads. I mean,
that's an accomplishment, though.
Yeah,
it is, and I'm fine with doing it. And that's something I learned growing up. Just this is something you have to do if you want to be a productive member of society. You have to do this.
Your mom and dad have high expectations for you.
I think for our listeners that the lesson there is some of us in our lives are like, I got to do my own damn laundry. And you're looking like that as an accomplishment. So that was my next question was, do you sometimes realize that people watch you and look up to you?
Oh, that's a good question.
Honestly, no, I don't.
They do. Some people look at you and say, she's struggling with all these things, and she's still sitting there smiling and trying and pushing ahead. And that's a great thing for you to show other people.
100%, because the things that you are going through, like what Steve said, I couldn't find a parking spot, or I have a hangnail, or whatever it is.
We get stuck in our own heads about the smallest little insignificant things, and you push through something that most of us don't even pay any attention to, and that's a big accomplishment for you. And people that see your struggles say, man, Patton, look at that. She's still smiling after all that stuff she's going through. That's very powerful.
Well, I've learned to fake it till you make it, or just pretend, and then you will slowly get there. And if I just fake smiling, then it's fine. I will slowly get there. And if it puts a smile on other people's faces, that's even better. Because most of the time I am in pain. I'm not going to lie. Right now, I'm on from a scale of 1 to 10, I'm probably a 3 to 4.
Oh.
I was going to ask about that pain scale for you, where it's so subjective, right? To certain people and what they've gone through. So, but your 3 or 4, quite honestly, is probably an 8 or a 9 for Steve and I, right? I just got chills just saying that.
It's probably true. Yeah.
What you experience on an every single day basis. And I know that when we were sitting there talking about at the beginning, before we even got on air, it's what do you want to talk about? Where are we going with this interview? But so much of your life has been GA, right? But that's not all who you are. That's not all who defines you. And now you're becoming this beautiful, amazing young woman. And like what Steve says, you have so much to give back that are people that you've already been on this journey, right?
Yes.
And you really are a hero to a lot of people, to even people that aren't even on this journey.
And I just try to live my life the best I can. I know that it's a lot different from mine to other people's, but I just try to put myself into the most normal shoes I can
Me too.
As weird as that sounds, like I want to be able to go to the grocery store and not ride the motorized scooter.
Yeah.
Or like if
I want to go to the grocery store and ride the motorized scooter.
See, it's all perspective. It's all perspective.
Yes. Or like if I am using a wheelchair, I want to be able to push it by myself.
Yeah.
I don't want to have a pusher.
Yeah. Patton, who is talking about you being a hero and a model? Who are your role models and heroes?
Honestly, I just think I don't have a specific role model. I look at aspects of different people and admire them. Like, for instance, I have many friends who are just so athletic and they just keep going and going and going. I love that aspect about them. Or I have friends, people who are just very much artistically talented and just enjoy art, just like me. And I adore those things about them. I can't just name one person. There are multiple aspects of different people. Like, for instance, I love my grandmothers because they're just so supportive and so heartwarming. Like, one of my grandmas is my best friend. I could easily move in with her.
Is that right?
Yes.
Jill said that your stuff's packed. Mom says stuff's packed already.
Yes.
I have kind of a very, it could be a difficult question for you to answer, but I feel like it's important for you to answer this. Have you ever felt cheated out of life having
Oh, very
this?
much. Very much. But I also look at it as, what would I be if I didn't have this? Because I very softly remember, like, me being such a brat at 3 years old, demanding to have pink shin guards and pink socks and pink bows and this specific hairstyle. I needed this. And ever since diagnosis, I've relaxed so much on like what I need and what I want to do specifically. And I can only imagine what I would be like if I didn't have this diagnosis.
Well, it's definitely a part of who you are now, and your entire family's life was affected by this, but it doesn't define you specifically.
No.
You aren't necessarily the face of juvenile arthritis across the world. You are still Patton Taylor, you know?
Am, yes.
And there's so many qualities about you that don't revolve around juvenile arthritis. One of the other questions I had for you is, what kind of advice do you have for somebody that is just starting out on this journey, a young adult?
Don't look at what you're missing out on. Look at what you could be learning from it. Because I'm going to say at late elementary and early middle school, I was looking at life as what I was missing out on. I was missing out on all my friends and all those inside jokes and lost quality time with my friends. But when I look at it again, I am seeing I got over FOMO. I got more independent. I am comfortable being by myself. There are so many things that I gained from that just few years that I would still be missing if I didn't.
Yeah. That's not just a lesson for somebody that's being diagnosed with your disease. That's a lesson for everybody. You don't focus on what you don't have, focus on what you do have. I think that's real important. So now you're pouring your heart and soul into this art, and you have a website on Shopify.
Yes.
So tell us about that. What are the plans? Because I think some of our listeners may want to get some of this lovely art from you. So tell us about that.
So my website is called Little P Designs. My nickname in my family is P.
Okay.
Just because I'm Patton P. And I am by far the smallest out of my family. Both my parents are 6 foot, and then my brother's 6'8".
Yeah. I love this is that a hedgehog?
So I had a pet hedgehog once upon a time, and I loved that thing so much. But she sadly passed away, and I like for a long time, I called myself a hedgeaholic.
There's support groups for that.
Yes. And so my dad's like, this is the perfect thing for you. This will be great.
Yeah.
That's pretty funny.
So I want to find out. Okay. So if somebody wants to order, so what's your Shopify? How do they find that?
So on my Instagram, you can find me on Instagram at Little P Designs Co. on Instagram, or I think you can Google Little P Designs Co. and find it.
Okay. All right. And then they can order these lovely cards from you.
Please, everybody go on there.
Did you
and
show
order
your
some.
sunset? Those are awesome. I really like those.
Look at that.
And so for our favorite clients that are listening right now, if you get one of those, we really like you. And if you don't, I don't know.
It's not the end of the world.
You get the stormtrooper.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
You get the stormtrooper. So, Steve, do you have any? I have some rapid fire.
Go ahead. Hit your rapid fire.
Okay. So, if you could remove one pain from your body, just one of them right now, which one would it be?
Oh, ankles immediately.
Really?
Yes. My ankles are like the weakest joint in my body. Like, I will easily just slip and twist my ankle out of nowhere. Oh. And if only like they were just a bit stronger and a bit more, I'm going to say less weak.
Yeah.
I would be so happy. Like,
do you have plates in them?
No.
You don't?
But I know a friend who their ankles fused.
Will you eventually have to get plates, do you think?
Maybe.
Or fused.
Yeah.
When you came in and I shook your hand, does that hurt when somebody shakes your hand too hard?
It depends on how hard they are. Like, if they want to break my hand, of course, it'll hurt. But if, like, you're doing just a normal hard shake, I'm fine.
Yeah. I just think that's important for people to know when they interact with you, that some of the things that, anybody else doesn't have any problem with might bother you.
You don't shake hands real hard either.
Shut up.
If you could have one superpower, what would it be? I just spit in the microphone because I was laughing.
Oh, definitely to be able to turn invisible.
Oh, me too. That would be fun.
I would have gotten out of so much trouble if I had that when I was younger, just sneaking my phone.
Right? I'd go rob a bank. Oh, sorry, South Star.
Not South Star.
That's right.
Okay. I knew he was going to do that. For sure. Okay, I have one more question.
Go ahead.
Stop. No, it's a serious question.
That's a serious question. Okay. What has been the best piece of advice so far that you've been given?
Okay, this is going to sound so bad, but I have horrible memory and I cannot remember any advice anyone has given me. I think the best advice I can remember is just enjoy the moment.
Oh, that's wonderful advice.
Because you never know when it will be better or worse.
There you go.
That's
no,
really
that's
big.
That's
do you do
great.
any journaling? Do you ever write down like how you're? I think it's important because you might have had a really good day, and then you wake up one day and you go, "I'm sick of feeling this way." But if you look back on your journal and you go, "Wow, 3 days ago, I had a really good day."
You know what? We gave her in her gift bag.
There's a journal in there.
Journal in
have
there.
you ever done any journaling?
So I tried to do it when I was in middle school, and it was not successful.
That's more teenage angst. Like, mom wouldn't let me go to the movies or something. But like now it's like you have adult feelings, bigger feelings, bigger things.
And I am open to trying it again. It's just so weird.
What about writing a book or like audio? Because your story, believe it or not, is very fascinating in the journey that you've been on today.
And the lessons that you've learned in your life can help everybody else. Not even just people going through the disease, but everybody else.
Well, so I have always just imagined like me writing a book or something like that. But I'm like, who really wants to listen to about a little cripple girl?
That's not what you are, though.
Like, so if you were talking about me going to this camp this weekend, I have a bunch of friends from this camp, and we have a group chat. Mm-hmm. You guys will never guess the name of this group chat.
You probably have a very dark sense of humor.
Yeah.
Oh, very much.
I could see.
So what's the name?
The Crip Crew.
The Crip Crew. Okay. Well, there is something to be said about making laughing at the things that are really hard in our life.
And I do my best to make a joke out of anything that comes my way.
Yeah.
Like, for instance, I have been hospitalized 2 different times because I was so severely constipated. It was a very crappy time.
Oh, God.
On that note, that's how we end the podcast. Yeah.
Oh, that's so great.
That is the best.
I want to encourage you, Patton.
That is the best.
The lessons you've learned. I don't think of yourself as just somebody sort of stumbling through life. You are doing something great getting through this disease, and you're helping other people that are dealing with it, but also helping their family, which I think is even harder because when you have siblings, especially when they're younger, they don't understand how hard it is for you, and they just treat you like the younger sister or the older sister that's struggling, and they're mean to you. And so teaching those lessons to other people is really valuable.
Well, also, I remember how my brother acted when I was first diagnosed. He was so jealous that I was always getting this attention. And people were asking, like, why are they always asking about Patton? They never ask about me.
Yeah.
And you know what? It's the journey that you're on, and I think now Drew's married, and he's an amazing adult on his own. But Mom and Dad, Jill and Trey, have done an amazing job raising both of you guys, and you are an extraordinary young woman, like I've said earlier. And I think that this isn't status quo. You're just going to continue to surprise us and just keep going on and on and on. And things are getting better and better in your life. And I look forward to hearing about your first kiss.
Yeah. We'll do a whole episode.
Yeah, we'll do a whole episode. We'll update our listeners.
Yeah, Patton, I really enjoyed this time with you. You're an amazing young lady, and I think you're going to do great things in your life, and you're going to be happy, and you're going to help people that are struggling with not only the disease that you have, but other things in life. And I just encourage you to go out and do that.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much
for joining us.
Thank you for having me. I've enjoyed this so much.
Well, good. That's our goal right there. Find your joy at Jovi Belterra. Life is better here. This thoughtfully designed 55-plus community is paired with resort-style amenities and social activities. They offer 1- and 2-bedroom homes located in Dripping Springs, the gateway to the Hill Country. Make friends, make memories, make time for you at Jovi Belterra. Live JoviBelterra.com, 737-387-6870.
From rodeo clowns, teachers or doctors, and everyone in between, Texans have one thing in common: hard work deserves smart banking. At Southstar Bank, whether you're buying your first home, building a dream ranch, or just managing daily finances, our 16 branches across Central Texas are here for you. Southstar Bank, trusted by professionals, backed by tradition, and built for Texas. SouthstarBank.com, member FDIC, an equal housing lender, NMLS 410624. Your weekend doesn't really start till you're with Deep Eddy Vodka.
The tasting room in Dripping Springs, where the Hill Country gathers.
Sip real fruit vodka, handcrafted cocktails, or a mocktail if you're keeping it light.
Food trailers on the weekends, a family-friendly vibe, and you've got your new favorite hangout. Deep Eddy Vodka Tasting Room. Sip local, sip real in Dripping Springs.
Follow Deep Eddy Vodka Tasting Room on Facebook and Instagram for what's pouring and what's happening.
This show is brought to you in part by the Mallet Integrity Team, serving Dripping Springs, Austin, and the surrounding areas of Central Texas since 2004. When you need the best real estate advice and service, give them a call at 512-829-2062 or email them at malletintegrityteam.com.
You know you like us, so go now to Apple Podcast or Spotify and leave us a review. Why don't ya? We love your feedback and comments. Email us at malletandmichelle@gmail.com.
Thanks for putting up with us.